All right. We are back at the Grit Won't Quit podcast studios today, and we have a very special guest on today. We have the first guest that we've ever had from Ohio on. So we have Kadin on. Good morning. How are you today?
I'm well, sir. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for reaching out to get on to Grit Won't Quit, and I'm glad you did. And from the sounds of it, you're a podcast expert. You've done how many podcasts so far?
I've honestly lost count. And that's just this year alone.
This year alone, you've done 100?
Yeah, this year is when I really started promoting my story and my mission.
I can't wait to hear your story because it is a good one, and I want our audience to hear it too. But let me go into 100. That's 2 a week. I mean, I've been in the podcast game, hosting podcasts, and I just crossed the 100 mark. I don't know, last week. So I understand what it's like. That's a lot of time and dedication to be on podcasts.
Well, I'm a guy who believes in this cause, so any amount of awareness counts,
So let's get right into the cause. Tell me what it is, and tell me why you're so passionate about it.
It is autism awareness, and I'm an autistic individual myself, and during my life, I've noticed people have questioned my capabilities among other people with autism. They question their capabilities time and time again, sometimes even while the autistic individual is having success in their respective field. But thanks to a very supportive set of parents, I was able to prove those naysayers wrong. I'm in college currently, a junior at Kent State University, and
that's awesome. You're a junior at Kent State University, and what are you majoring in?
At first I was majoring in PR, but I decided to go online for the rest of my collegiate career, so now I'm majoring in communications, which is basically the same thing. There's just like one or two differences.
Yep, and now do you like being a communications major?
Yes, sir, I do.
And now where do you, so you got junior and senior year ahead of you right now, and then what's the plan after that?
Then after that, I definitely want to continue appearances like these, especially nowadays, so not to get political, but now that there's going to be more political divide in the state, given the result, I definitely want to continue my mission. But in the sense of career, I definitely want to work for some nonprofit centered around autism awareness. And then eventually, once I reach 50 and I have a stable income and what have you, I definitely want to run for some form of political office. I think we need an autistic or neurodivergent mind in some form of political power.
Sure. And do you have any feeling on what kind of political arena you want to do work in, or is that still open?
That's still open, but my top 3 choices would be the commissioner of my county, Lake County. First neurodivergent commissioner in Lake County history definitely has a nice ring to it. State representative, or possibly president, not to be too ahead, but first neurodivergent president would definitely teach this country a lesson about kindness and respect.
Wow, you got some big dreams ahead of you.
Yes, sir, I do.
I love it. And don't keep chasing those dreams. That's great. So what was one of the challenges, and what got you to thinking about overcoming some of these obstacles and some of these things? What was some of the things you've been challenged with from at a younger age?
Well, that's the thing. Academically, I was never challenged, apart from math, but who isn't at math? But it was socially mainly that I was having.
Socially?
Yeah, not necessarily in elementary school, but middle school and high school were nightmares of bullying and stigmatization. Quite frankly, by some of the teachers, too. I don't think they meant to, I doubt it, but there was one incident in middle school where my IEP was taken away from me without my parents' knowledge or consent because I was doing well academically. Keep in mind, this is Tennessee, sometimes that state can be a bit ignorant on marginalized groups like the neurodivergent community. The reason they took the IEP from me was because I was doing well academically, getting A's and B's. There was a C, but I would always get A's and B's and decent grades, never D's or F's.
Sure.
Looking back,
Yep.
the school sort of understood that autism isn't necessarily academic struggles. In fact, several notable scientists, Einstein, Darwin, Friedrich Nietzsche was another one. They were on the spectrum, and they went on to make great strides in science,
Greatness.
philosophy, and arts. It's mainly social stuff, and it's on the school to help out with teaching students social skills and proper manners and that kind of thing. And I'm grateful to my parents for this. They fought long and hard to get that back in high school, writing to various organizations in the state centered around autism, writing to a state senator, cussing out the principal over the matter. Well, not cussing out, but there was one time where I was having an issue with a student, and I playfully made a little rap. I still laugh about it to this day, where I said, such and such gotta watch himself. My parent showed it to the school and repeated the expletives to the principal, much to their shock, since Tennessee is a very conservative state. But my parents have been my biggest supporters throughout this journey of mine, and they are still.
Yep, that's great to have. You need somebody in your corner. You need someone that believes in you and that's going to go to bat for you when issues arise. So I think that's great that your parents have been in your corner and they've been your advocates for you. And now, how has social media played into this? Because you're very active on social media. You're involved with different groups. Again, you don't get on 100 podcasts by not being involved in social media. So how have you seen that kind of play out?
All the social media is great. I mainly use Facebook and LinkedIn to make those valuable connections. But I think we're in the age of where everything's going to be social media, book, chat room type of stuff. I'm a Gen Zer, so I've had a lot of practice since probably 11 years old. I've always had a strong work ethic in that sense. I think it has been extremely helpful in helping me make those connections, get on these shows, and partner with several different companies on fundraisers.
What kind of fundraisers? Tell us more.
Well, this is actually a great opportunity to talk about what I'm doing now with a company called Soldier Girl Coffee. The owner is a veteran, donates the proceeds from her coffee sales to various veteran organizations. I got in touch with her, told her my story. She has a kiddo with autism, and together, throughout this month, we're raising money for an organization in my county called the Lake County Special Needs Birthday Club, which I fundraise for all the time.
Awesome. That's really great. So now you'll help promote this coffee, and then in turn, people will buy the coffee, and then they will make a donation back to this organization. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening currently.
That's awesome. And you got involved with this coffee company through social?
Yeah, I was able to get in touch with the owner.
Great. And that's the beauty of social media. You can, it's a lot easier to talk to people and talk to, owners of companies and higher ups of companies than it was ever, because now they're on social media themselves and they're, it's a DM away. It's a direct message away, right?
Exactly.
That's great. And have you done anything, anything else on social that stands out that the audience should know about?
But one other thing I was able to do, one other company I was able to connect with, is a company called Boatman Shoes. They offered me a brand ambassador position, and it's not necessarily for autism awareness exclusively, but the shoes are neurodivergent friendly. So I promote the shoes, make a post or so a week, or make any connections and send them to Boatman, and in return they allow me to have the shoes, and they follow me on social media.
Fantastic. So you're becoming like a an influencer.
Kinda. I wouldn't say that. I'm only at 1K followers, but in a way, kind of an influencer.
You listen. Influencers started at 1K and then grew from there. So I mean, again, there's only upside potential, and especially if you're so out there. And I think it's great that you're a Gen Zer and you're on 100 podcasts. I can't say enough good things about that because realistically, that takes a lot of effort. I've recorded 100 podcasts. I know what kind of effort it takes on my end, and now you're getting interviewed by 100 different people. At least me, I control the conversation. I talk about what I want to talk about today, not necessarily what you want to talk about. You have to just answer questions. You know what I'm saying? So when you think about it like that, your job's harder than my job.
Yes.
So now, what's kind of the goal for going forward? So you're a junior, you got a year and a half left of, or almost 2 years left of college. Do you want to do more interviews and more podcasts? Have you done anything with the school? Do they have a podcast or like, something like that, or a YouTube channel that you could provide value to?
I've seen several social media accounts through some of the school clubs and organizations. So getting in touch with them and seeing if I could make content for them wouldn't be a bad idea, actually.
And now I wonder if there's other guys, if there's a group of students like yourself who have autism that could kind of even promote their own, like a channel, you know, for about autism from people that have it, so that you can explain that message. I think when you talk about high school being tough, I think that some of that bullying comes in because of misinformation, uninformed people. They don't understand it and they don't know what to do, and then in turn it becomes like bullying and things that shouldn't be treated the way they are. But I think as more and more people understand what it is and how to react, that you're a normal guy. But they don't know that until they get to meet you. I've been chatting with you for 15 minutes and I see you do the same things I do. So it's just I think that people don't know enough about it.
I absolutely agree. That's why I'm grateful for a lot of these activists and organizations that are working to raise awareness about this cause.
Yeah, I think that the more that you get that activism out there, and the more the message gets through, and it's clear, I think that I think it's an education process, and I think again, not knowing all that much about this is, I would bet that the younger people know more about it than maybe people my age, and the people that are my parents' age know less about it than people my age, because again, it hasn't been socialized for that long. So I think the more and more that people like yourself are getting out there and sharing your story, I think the better that this is for everybody.
Absolutely agree.
I think you're doing great things out there, and I'm happy to see that you've are forward and getting out there and getting on these, and being on these social medias to explain and get more people to be interested in talking to you. It's really cool. And I think that it's going to continue to grow, and it's not going to be always easy. And I think again, you've persevered your whole life, and you've never given up, and you understand the value of grit and tenacity and things like that. So I think the goal is that you got to stay strong out there. Don't give up that hustle.
I absolutely agree. Not just with.
And then when you get into the business world or the nonprofit world, when you graduate, do the same thing. Give that same effort, because I think that'll help you continue to grow.
I absolutely will.
Awesome. So what else do you want the audience to know about you, about your story, about autism, so that we can make sure that everybody gets some education out of today?
For the people of Autism, I would say you are amazing as you are. If people can't see that, don't give them the time of day. Because they're the ones at the end of the day who are going to miss out on an amazing person or coworker or boyfriend or girlfriend. And for those who want to learn more, I would urge you to message organizations. See if you can volunteer at your local autism center for 2 to 3 times a week. Because from what I've found, advocacy is the best way of learning about autism. I'm still learning about myself every day.
That's fantastic. That's really good advice. Is there a specific organization that you'd like to share their website or anything like that, for people to learn more?
I would say one great resource is the Autism Society of America.
The Autism Society of America. When we release this podcast, I'll make sure that we put in the notes what that URL is, so that it was easy for people to find.
Yeah, that would be great. I'll send your producer all the links to include.
Awesome. And now, as we wrap up today, this was a great conversation, great chat with you. Let people know where they can find you on social media, if it's on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, etc., so that people that want to connect can connect with you.
Absolutely. They can follow me on Facebook at Kadin Ronald, KADINRONALD, or they can connect with me on LinkedIn, Kadin Ronald McElwain, KADINRONALDMCELWAIN.
All right. Well, this was a great conversation. I'm glad that you took time out of your busy day to chat with me, and I wish you nothing but success. And I believe you're on the road to success. I love your grit. I love the fight that you have in you, and keep sharing that message and let people know more about it, autism, so that more people can learn and be educated about it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Have a great day. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you as well.
All right. Bye bye.